All right, guys. It is a Ram TRX kind of day. We are busting out the truck for a pretty cool mod. Something I've been kind of waiting for a little while now. And it comes to us from our friends over at Real Truck. So again, one of the best websites when it comes to aftermarket or even factory truck parts. So mods, modifications, some OEM parts. Check out the website. I will link everything down below, but it is the site to go to when it comes to all of your truck needs. Anyway, we got some taillights today, guys. These are from Recon. Yeah, the company that makes some of the coolest looking LED taillight replacements. That's what we're doing today. So as you can see here, my current stock taillights are literally just stock wrapped in some taillight tint. We're gonna change that today though, because we got these Recon LED taillights that are gonna really snazz this thing up. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do kind of a 50-50 thing. I'm gonna replace one of the lights and leave the other one stock so you guys can see the full change, the full experience of these taillights, so you have a good idea if this is something you wanna do with your Ram TRX. So let's get these things unboxed, up on the tailgate, and take a look at these bad boys. All right, guys, and these are the taillights that we went with. They are the Recon smoked black LED taillights, and they are over at the Real Truck website, of course, like I said. And this is them in person. So if you don't trust the pictures for some reason, they do actually look like that. So we're going to go ahead and throw one of these on there. Like I said, the install of these is pretty easy. We got to remove a couple screws over here. Looks like 2 screws here. And then we can just kind of pop that taillight out. It kind of installs with pegs on the back. You can actually see them right there on the aftermarket taillight. Now, there is a little bit of swapping we have to do here because I do have the blind side alerts here, or the blind spot alerts. Those have to actually be taken off that taillight and put into the back of this one. You can see right there, which I'll show you the whole process. But ultimately, actually getting these bolted onto the truck isn't the hard part. It's a little more difficult, I guess, or time consuming, I'll say, to swap all this stuff out over to the new taillight. So like I said earlier, I'm going to swap just one in for the time being so you guys can see the difference between, you know, OEM and that particular taillight. And I'll actually compare more once I get this one out. I'll set it right beside this one because it's kind of hard to tell the difference right now. But yeah, we're going to do it all. So let's start with getting this thing out. And for those of you wondering, the screws in here, we got one right there and one up here. We'll have to kind of close the tailgate for a little bit. They are T25 screws. And here they are side by side on the bench, so to speak. This is the Recon taillight. This is the OEM with some tint on it. Basically, the Recon taillight is not quite as dark tinted, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. The Recon should have some brighter LEDs and a little bit more of a cool kind of style to the LED. So we'll see what all is different once we hook these things up. But like I said, OEM with some tint, Recon taillights I showed on the website earlier. Super easy so far to pop these out. We got 2 spots for the pins here. And then of course the screws we showed taken out, and then 1 electrical connection. So really not too difficult so far. Let's go ahead and start swapping the guts over because we're going to need some of the stuff from the stock one on this one to get it to work properly. And then again, I'm going to show you that 50-50 shot. But this is probably one of the more easy installs you're going to be able to do on pretty much any of your vehicles. So yeah, why not? All right, so again, here we are. This is the OEM taillight. This is the part of the taillight we have to swap over. So this is metal, which is also kind of corroded looking, not great. But we'll go ahead and remove that. It looks like a T25 again. It looks like these bolts are a T20. It's kind of sealed in there. Obviously, you want it to be weather tight. And there's the module. So right here you can see there's a disconnect, some weather sealing around there. We'll go ahead and remove this. But looks like we're probably gonna have to take this off of the actual block here first. Same size screws. And then that comes off the block. That's the only way we can just detach this electrical connection. So again, just so you can see this up close, this is the block that goes on the back with the weather seal, and then that sensor will basically bolt right onto there. This little thing here allows it to not accidentally come unplugged, it seems, but for the most part this looks like probably a heat sink. So now that that's disconnected, we can literally get rid of the stock taillight. Now we're going to focus on the aftermarket taillight. Go ahead and snip the zip tie that's on here. That's just from factory to hold in the wires. We got 2 sets of wires here, just like we do with the stock taillights. This one here is going to plug into that sensor we just removed, like so. And then we'll screw this back onto that heat block with the 2 gold screws. Just like that. And then we can go ahead and set this in place. And then we'll go ahead and put the stock screws back in. These are the T20 screws. That's pretty much it. Now from here, we'll just use the other electrical connector, plug it into the truck, and attach the taillight. We're done. So electrical connection first. And then we can just start putting the taillight in. Same way the stock one came out. So it'll push into that those same 2 binding posts. From here, we'll go ahead and put the stock hardware back in, and then this one is done. So just the 2 clips and the 2 T25 screws. There's the first clip. Second clip. First screw. Second screw. So there you have it, guys. It's actually a really easy install. It took me on camera maybe 2 minutes. If I wasn't filming anything and this was off camera, that would have been probably 30 seconds worth of an install. And you can see it fits in there just like OEM does. Looks nice. Let's see how it looks compared to the stock taillight that we left in there. All right, we'll start easy. Just an unlock. All right, so you can see there's a little bit of a difference in how these behave. So let me give you a better shot. All right, so here is the aftermarket taillight when you hit unlock. And then lock. Here is the stock tail light doing the same thing. We're going to unlock it. So yeah, a little less fanfare, we'll say. And they definitely don't look as bright. Now that's possibly because of the tail light tint, but either way, my truck's black, so I wanted them to be tinted out a little bit. This is how it goes, I guess. Again, stock, Recons, and both at the same time. And lock. Now here's the Recons with the 4-ways on. So as you can see, they're kind of sequential. And the stock taillights with the 4-ways on. Both are LED, which is nice. It's nice to get an LED taillight from factory, of course, but there's a little bit more happening with the Recons. They look a little bit more, dare I say, premium, but there's also a little bit more of a sequential effect. So these ones are also lighting up yellow, where the Recons light up red, but give you that sequential look. All right, so I am really liking that. I think that looks really good on the truck. It's just the right amount of tint where you can clearly still see that is a tail light, but it is also tinted out to look good on a black truck. And of course, this angle is one of my favorite with this truck. and it looks freaking awesome there too. We got a little bit of a sequential, little bit brighter tail light, and I like the way it looks, and ultimately gives that truck a more kind of rugged appearance almost. So if you guys were in the market for these, I've seen these pop up on the forums from time to time. People had questions about them. I figured I'd grab a set to just answer anything that you guys might have. The install is super easy. One connection and a removal of the blind spot monitor if your truck has it, and it all screws right in, and it is basically OEM quality, if not better. So again, we'll get up nice and close here. Like I said, I've seen a lot of questions pop up about these, and I haven't seen a lot of answers, especially on the TRX specifically. I've seen it on some 1500s, but not the TRX. So now we have something. If you guys like that, I will of course put all of the links down below if you guys are interested in grabbing a set of these for yourselves. I think that looks really good. I'm gonna go ahead and put on the other tail light and finish this thing up, but it's gonna be more of the same, so I'm not gonna bore you with the process. One other thing I did want to show on camera is what the backup lights look like. So I'm going to start the truck up, put it in reverse so you can see the backup lights on the Recon first, and then I'm going to show you on the stock tail light. Now out with that taillight. Done. All right, guys, so there you have it. The TRX now has Recon style taillights, all LED with a little more flare than stock, a little bit brighter, and just looks a little more rugged slash off-roadish. I like the way they look. If you don't have tinted taillights, this is definitely the way to go. These are a lot easier to get to the point where you're happy with the level of tint on there. I really like that amount of tint. You can still clearly see it's a taillight, but it's obviously very fitting of a black exterior or whatever kind of color you're going for. It's gonna tint out those taillights nicely. Now, with that said, if you want a set of stock OEM taillights that are tinted already, hit me up. I'm gonna be selling mine, so if you want them, you can have them. Anyway, this is the Recon taillights again, guys. Links in the description down below. One last final look. Again, I know this was brought up a lot on the TRX forums. I just want to make sure you guys fully know what they look like if you wanted to grab a set for yourselves. I think they look pretty good. Now, they retain, of course, that blind spot functionality, the LED functionality, a little bit brighter and a little bit more flare. That's pretty much it. I know I keep saying that, but at the end of the day, it is just a set of taillights, but I did want to get them out there for you guys. So anyway, guys, if you liked what you saw, smash the thumbs up button. Let me know you're liking the content. Shoot me an email, horsepowerobsessed@gmail.com, if you have any questions or anything specific you'd like to see on the TRX, or you can leave it down below in the comment section as well. Either way, that's going to do it for this video. So subscribe if you haven't yet. And as always, stay obsessed.